And it's who all is.
Six participants.
Katie Wright is at IU.
Yes, yes.
That's four, it says six or in.
Sudesh, we know.
Teresa.
Is Teresa Beam on your team?
Yes, I'm here.
She's with the USI.
With USI, perfect, thank you.
I'm with USI, yes.
Great. All right.
Is that everyone?
It says six.
This is the outcome.
All right, Andrea Gentry is with the USI Foundation. Steve Schaefer is a concerned citizen.
Okay. Looks like everybody's on. I hear that. And we're recording? Yes. Okay. So welcome. We'll open the October 14th, 2025 meeting in the Southwest Indiana Regional Development Authority. For the record, show that all members of the RDA are present in person and timely.
And early.
Early. In some cases. So welcome to our guests and visitors, and we will take care of just a couple of minor items first, and then we'll jump right into our presentations this morning. The first item, Secretary's report from the last meeting was emailed to all the members. Any questions? Not, I'll accept the motion.
So move. Second.
Motion was made by Jim, second by Evan. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And the minutes have been approved. Financial report, Zach, good to have you here with us.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. The financials should be in your packet and we're very straightforward for September. The narrative is such that the IEDC dispersed 1.6 million across 15 claims. Of that 1.6, the RDA distributed 610,000 during September. The difference being for county's wire, as well as a disbursement that was received at the very, very tail end of September. We'll see that reflected in the first part of October for their disbursement. Additionally, we had 7 claims that were approved in September. Those claims have been marked as filled, as well as 2 claim adjustments that were as well taken into account. And that concludes the financial commentary for September.
The 2 claim adjustments, can you just those
Yes,
just
project 309 Centerpoint Energy Square, claim number 3 had a $5,000 adjustment. I believe it was from 58,000 down to 53,000. And project 506 for EV mental healthcare training had an 11-cent adjustment that was adjusted downwards, so by 11 cents.
any other questions for Zach?
Motion for approval.
Second. We had motion made by Evan, second by Jason. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Financials have been approved, thank you. The first, under old business, we have, what we call Project 402, which is the Stone Center. And, we've been kind of massaging this project a little bit, mainly with some encouragement from IEDC to get this done. And as we've openly discussed, and it's great to have Dr. Becker here and Kathy Zimmerman with Stone. Anybody online that we need to acknowledge?
Yes, Katie Wright is with the Office of Research Administration.
Okay, and Katie Wright. So we have had meetings, one-off meetings, IEDC has been down, and understanding that SWIRDA, this organization, we are bound by some pretty tight timelines on this. So we want to give you just an opportunity to give us some update on where we are, because I think in full transparency that we have some very short and upcoming deadlines. really by our November meeting. So that means we would really need to have some, full compliance that we have, just that we value this project. This is really important to the community. It's important to the region. So we want to work with you to get this done, but we're kind of at that point where by the end of October, we need to have everything kind of in place to show that we can commit and expend those funds. So I'll turn it over to you, and if you could give us an update.
So first of all, I think we are in very good shape with the Stone project. Basically, we in the past, probably 4 to 5 months have hired up to actually 11 and going on 12 psychiatrists who are going to be part of the new residency program that we're bringing to Evansville, which is at the core of what we're building for workforce development in the region. We're currently applying to the ACGME for our application. We expect to have 32 residents training in our psychiatry residency here in Evansville at Deaconess Health System as the primary site, starting in July of 27. It'll take 4 years to get up to the region and be taking 8 residents a year. To bring that about, we actually have to have about 9 core psychiatrists that will be part of that faculty. We will ramp that up over time, but we currently have 7 of those 9 committed. We are paying them through the IU School of Medicine currently as part of their salary to be part of the residency program and to get the residency program up and running. So we've made a lot of progress, again, 11, and with the Southwestern doctor that's coming on board in the next, gets hired, he actually starts work Monday. And then we'll be working with Southwestern to develop their cost share. So the chart that we sent yesterday has our current estimated cost share. As it stands today, what we know we're gonna have short of one of these psychiatrists get hit by a bus or leaving the area, or we have one retire in the last 2 months to tell us that as of January 1st, they're gonna retire. So we subtracted that 350,000 off the cost share from Southwestern. So, this is not a perfect measure. We have always been giving the most accurate we had up to date, and what we believe we sent yesterday is the current structure of the cost share for the project as it stands today without any additional hires. We will hire more people between now and probably March of this coming year. So that is what we sent you is the minimum. And I think it was like 11.5 million total cost for the project as of December 31st. So we're very comfortable with that. We expect our current invoice, the way they are currently running without adding anything new to them, will be over $2 million by July of 26. So we expect to invoice that. I know we currently have about 836,000 waiting for distribution provided we're in compliance. So the projects, I would say we're very excited about it. We feel like we're making really good progress. I think the key thing for the board to know is that when you start a residency, you actively start hiring the people for it 2 years prior to the residency starting. So if we were to actively start hiring a year ago, our grant was officially finalized, I think, in September of 24 through IU and the RDA here, which meant we really couldn't start invoicing anything until after that. So we've really had about a year to invoice. And again, our hiring has started as of May, June of this year, 2 years prior to the residency starting. So I think that's the current status. We're very comfortable that we will have 2 million invoiced. A lot of this, we rely on our experts at the Office of Research Administration so that we're doing everything by standards that are required, since we certainly are not the experts at grant management. So we're comfortable that they have gone through everything that we're invoicing and that it meets the standards that they accept. All right.
I think that we are one letter shy of having financial commitment from all of our cost share partners. Southwestern Behavioral and Katie Adams, the CEO there, has been on vacation, but nonetheless, she's in the process of hiring. And as you read in the letter that we provided, she is not at the point where everything is final in those negotiations, although their intent on employment by the end of October.
Actually, the person starts Monday. They have a signed contract. He is here. We already have hired him at the IU School of Medicine. All right, so he is actually a part-time paid faculty at the School of Medicine starting October 1st. So he is the 12th that's on board, but Southwestern rightfully, until he starts working and they start paying him, is not comfortable giving a cost share letter to us yet. I would anticipate by early November that will be done. So we have to sit down and basically talk about what percentage of his time will be spent on the Mary O'Daniel Stone project. He is committed to it. He came here because of the Mary O'Daniel Stone project. All right, so he's from out of state. He's a Mayo trained psychiatrist, an outstanding candidate, and he would not have come here if we didn't have the IU School of Medicine Stone Center and the residency program coming. So we're already seeing benefits. We've already helped Deaconess recruit two new psychiatrists that without what we're doing would not be here. We're seeing what I had expected to happen, which is what happened up in Vincennes when we started the residency program up there. They started out with 2 psychiatrists in the region. They now have 7. And they're all tied to the residency. So from the implementation of the residency, we're very happy where we're at. We have all of our core faculty lined up, which is exceptional. 18 months out from a residency, it's rare to have that.
Can you help me just do some quick math? So $2 million award and you have an $850,000 claim that's about to go in, correct? So that's 1.15. And so if we need everything in really by July, so we have 7 months next year, and are these folks going to be engaged and let's just say billable for November and December of this year?
Yes,
That'd be 9 months. So 1.15 divided by 9. It's $127,000 a month. Are you consuming that much salary and benefits
yes.
every month consistently?
Well,
Or more, in case someone gets hit by the proverbial bus.
so yes, we will be above $2 million in July on our current, what we expect to spend with what we have been spending. All right, so we expect to be over 2 million in invoicing. We may well be several $100,000 above that. We obviously aren't going to invoice that because when we get to 2 million, we're done.
Right.
But no, we feel very comfortable with the numbers we have run with what we have today without adding anything else. We expect to add more over the next 3 to 6 months. But the worst case scenario, short of somebody, and again, we'd probably have to have 2 people hit by buses. You know, so.
To be a nice.
So our best estimate is we're gonna be comfortably over 2 million by July. And I think we have additional invoices ready to come in, which, you know, we're right now.
Beyond the 850.
Yes, I think that they are ready to start coming. I don't, Katie may not have looked at that, but we are turning in things every month.
So the cadence of us getting claims. How,
That would have to, that would probably be Sarah, my operations manager, that we could get that to you, but we have quarterly payments for a lot of the data analytics that we pay. So
right,
those, we know exactly, those are going in these quarters out until next July. And then we have current salaries that are coming straight out of the IU HR system that every month, you know, and I think those are 500,000 to 600,000 over a year in general. What we're current spending. So that's probably, if I was gonna estimate, about 50,000 a month is coming out of direct salaries that we control at
that you control, and then you have the matching. Because again, we need to be at 100, let's just say $130,000 a month.
Right, so what I would tell you is we may be at 60, 60, and then 220
Right,
because of different things, but in
So
general,
the data and analytics, was scheduled, right? That's
Yes.
on your draw schedule that you turned in,
yeah,
and it's scheduled in those quarterly draws.
can we get a memo from someone on your team, like as concisely as possible?
of what we expect monthly.
Of what we expect monthly
Yeah.
and really. I don't need names and things like that, but. 3 psychiatrists at 60% of their time or 4, things like that, and then data. Those pieces. And are you claiming any of your occupancy costs, your office space, things like
No.
that?
Not claiming anything else, we're only claiming salaries, salary support. And the RWE, the research data.
So the salary includes employer paid taxes and benefits, et cetera, correct?
Yes.
So you're just trying to accelerate as much as you possibly can. So if we could get that, I think in a memo form, is there any way that could be provided by end of week?
We should be able to get that, except for one person at Southwestern.
But there is an estimate of what that person is making.
Yeah, we do, and we have that estimate that we included in our prior. Estimate.
So one concise memo explaining monthly how you'll get to $130,000.
What our invoices look like from now until July 31st so that we're over 2 million.
Correct.
Got it.
And then that memo will be distributed to this board. We'll send a copy to the Ready team at IEDC and that might help us. Board members,
No, it's good. I like the plan.
Yeah, and the final match letter is the,
From Southwestern. Yeah. And-
Southwestern, correct?
And we may get additional match letters over the next 3 to 6 months. Obviously, if it's 9 months from now, we're getting close to the end of the invoicing, but we would still collect those cost shares to add on to where we're at right now.
yeah, well, we can collect the cost shares all the way until the end of December next year.
Right, so
But
that,
it's, what for our need is the reimbursement of the data and the labor.
that shouldn't be hard because that's what we've been doing the last week to put together what we expect our invoice to be to total over to. We wanted to make sure we were over 2 million by July.
Okay,
So
so
I would think definitely by Friday, but we might even be able to get that done. I'll under promise and over deliver. We'll have it to you by Friday, but
Perfect.
we may have it in 24 hours. We have enough time today.
Kathy, are you still on? Is she?
It's Katie.
Okay.
Katie, oh, sorry.
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I said Kathy. So Katie, you've heard the discussion, right? And it sounds like there were a couple times that they kind of pitched something that might be in your wheelhouse to complete. Any issues in the timing and that type of thing coming from your end?
Yeah, what our office does is oversees the compliance of the funds since they were awarded as a grant and their federal flow through. So we're just making sure we do all the billing, but ultimately they're the ones who have to incur the expense that we bill. But I did look at the account and while you guys were talking, and they've incurred over 1.2 million in expense. So they've already have added more since the last billing. So I cannot say because I'm not in the day-to-day of the expenditures, but if Dr. Becker and Catherine are saying that they're going to be there, then I trust their judgment. But overall, our office is responsible for ensuring the compliance of the grant funds and that we are meeting the cost share, that we're set up to meet the cost share, that we can track it, and that we aren't putting any expenses on the grant that would be unallowable. If that makes sense.
Katie, did you say it looks like we have 1.2 million with invoices that are coming? Is that what I thought I heard you say?
You currently have $1.2 million of expenses on the account. we just sent an invoice, or it looks like she might be in the middle of doing another invoice a couple days ago. That was for another 48,000, but there's still more expenses on the account even over that. It just, they probably hit since she did the last invoice.
Could we regularly get an invoice by the end of every month so that this body has something 2 weeks later to approve, so we could also, I mean, very consistent invoicing, I think is mission critical here too.
Katie, there's no issue with us sharing that monthly with this board, right? From your
I don't think
viewpoint?
so. Yeah, so we'll just have to let.
That'd be very helpful.
Yeah, but yeah, getting those reimbursement claims into us as quickly as possible.
Okay,
This also would be a benefit to the IEDC, I think.
Yeah, and that helps us when we do the IDC, so.
We've requested that.
Any other questions from the RDA members? I just want to say, we really appreciate everyone taking their time to come in this morning. This is critical for us. And
We want to agree the money.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you, I don't think there's a person at this table that doesn't know a family that's been impacted by mental health
Yeah.
amongst young people in their families. And,
I think everybody that's involved in this project, I know from our side, we all feel so fortunate with Bill and Mary's gift to be able to do this for our region, to turn our region into a really special place, and I think we're incredibly excited. This is a lot of hard work of working through all kinds of different organizations, multiple hospitals. Just like what you guys are, I mean, it's the complexity of navigating through all these different things, but what I would say is that everybody's on board. It is a wonderful project, and at the heart of it is psychiatry adult residency. I mean, think about 5 years from now, we'll have 32 residents plus another 10 psychiatrists in the region. Not only training future psychiatrists, but changing how we deliver care and actually offering so much care to the region that we don't have right now. So it is a key anchor of it, and the 2 million from Ready certainly helps us launch that. It's critical, and I think much like the Stone Center and everything that we've done the last decade, I'm very comfortable that 5 or 10 years from now, we'll all look back and think of what an incredible investment this was.
Well, we're honored to be a partner with you. Obviously, this project was recommended early on, as you said last year, so we stay committed. We know, we can tell you're very committed to this, everyone that's been on the meeting today. And we just need to carry it over the finish line by the end of the month.
All right, we'll get you what you requested here this week, and we'll start hitting the invoices every month. And we'll give you the timeline of what we anticipate the invoices to be each month going forward. All right,
Perfect. We'll look forward to that memo.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Pretty good one.
Under new business, then we have some presentations for projects. And the first one, is anybody here from?
No, I told them they did not need to be present for this.
Okay,
So the Franklin Street Lots, as you all remember, was approved for application to the Lilly Endowment Initiative Blight and Redevelopment Program. That program awarded 1 million of their $1.3 million request. We were not made aware that the 1.3 wouldn't come from Lilly, even though they had told us that this project would be being funded. So we have a $300,000 gap that was created for this project. This project was reviewed by our scoring committee, was scored well. And we had a groundbreaking last week during the Fall Festival. And I'm sure there are people excited and ready to move into this building as soon as it's ready, creating 56 quality loft spaces and then additional commercial space for Heritage as it continues to grow. They need additional office space. So this is a request for $300,000 in ready funds, to match $1 million in LEI to match roughly $11 million plus in private investment and public investment. There is a TIF in here as well.
So those of us who had the opportunity to go to the groundbreaking, they've already started, so it is underway. Looks like a great facility.
They needed windows for the win. I mean, they had to do that, so,
Yeah, they had to close out the weather.
yeah.
Anyway. Very motivated developer.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Does someone want to make a motion?
So moved.
Second. Say, Evan. Yeah. He's on coffee break.
Let's go forward then and talk about the next project.
Let's just hold that motion and get them all in the presentations. Next one, University of Southern Indiana STEM Lab. And I believe all of our participants here are joining us online. So welcome this morning. You want to just tell us the nuts and bolts of
Yeah.
the request?
This was one of the first requests we had for Ready 2, and this is a project that has two components. It is creating the Center for Applied Business Technologies and then develops an innovative STEM lab in the Rice Library. If you attended our annual meeting and dinner a few weeks ago, you saw some folks from their team with one of the demonstrating some of the technologies that they'll be utilizing there. Sudesh, do you want to talk briefly about what people will be learning there?
Yeah, and so, if we go back real quick to Jensen Huang, NVIDIA CEO, saying that those who are comfortable using AI and then leveraging AI to create value for organizations, they're the ones who'll have jobs going down the future. And so, for us here, we're interested and we're really championing building that entire talent pipeline for Evansville and Evansville businesses and the region and the state of Indiana. So with our Center for Applied Business Technologies, we will be housing all these AI-based technologies in this center, and where students will sort of learn hands-on on how to use and deploy these technologies to create value for organizations. And we'll have about 250 graduates every year who'll have competency in these AI-based technologies. And you saw in the at that event, the big EREP event, we had a digital twin of Mayor Winnicky. Some may have recognized that and some may not. We also had, our platform on biometrics showing how you can leverage eye tracking, whether it's for wayfinding on the whole new project along the riverfront or on optimizing engagement websites, but lots of applications. So really, in terms of economic development, we're happy to help support that entire talent pipeline here for this region. So as businesses, seek to expand, they have that talent available, or we bring in new businesses.
Dinesh, will this be open to, I know in the information it says to students and professionals, will it be open to like high schools to come in and do like work study or things like that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. In fact, in our small scale version that we have now of the biometrics lab, we have high schools visiting with us regularly, and they really enjoy wearing the eye tracker glasses and getting their hands, on these technologies to do some learning and also have fun. Absolutely, it'll be open to everyone. This center is not it's for all of us, not just for the business school. It's for USI, for the entire community, for companies who want to come and spend maybe a day even to do some problem solving using these technologies. Open to them as well. We're happy to work with them.
Other questions from any of the members?
So the
Great.
original request, sorry to jump in, was $440,000. We have $300,000 remaining in Ready 2.0 funds following the other allocations that have been made. So this would be a $300,000 grant.
So that recommended by staff at 3 are ready. And then, thank you so much for taking time this morning to give us that overview. And then we have a final potential project for the Toyota YMCA in Gibson
Thank
County.
So if you all remember, the student housing at the life science campus was reduced in scope, and that provided an additional amount of funding available to go into other Ready One projects of $1,197,285. Presented a few ideas to the IEDC team about what might be available to utilize those dollars, and their suggestion, given the expediency with which the Toyota Indiana YMCA of Gibson County did their project with their $5 million award, recommended that we reach out to the team there to see if they had capacity to absorb the additional $1,197,000. I reached out to Jonathan Pope, CEO of the Southwest Indiana YMCA, who provided a number of projects that could be completed in time to sort of finalizing the building in certain ways. I think if you were with us in the ribbon cutting, you would see that there were some rooms that were not completed, some air quality systems, a few other things that were put on the wish list for getting done. Overall, this would bring our allocation to this project to roughly $6.2 million, matched by $13.8 million in federal and local public support. This is a new markets tax credit project, was part of the funding mix here, so has some complex federal dollars involved. And then roughly $2.8 million in private funds. Ready to begin this work immediately, and all reimbursements would be in by September, and everything would be done by midsummer. Jonathan, do you have anything to add?
Well, you scoped it pretty well, Josh. Thanks for the opportunity to look at it. At this point, we're wrapping up the initial project, just going through the punch list, and we're ready to launch into this next phase that we're able to do for the biggest impact. It's gonna be 2 preschool classrooms in Gibson County. I just want to emphasize that a lot of the investment that we're asking for is to build out 2 preschool classrooms. We'll serve, I think, about 20 kids in each classroom, so 40 kids. And if you talk to the superintendent in North Gibson, he'll tell you that there's a restricted inventory of preschool classrooms in that county. I'm sure we can say the same about just about any county, right, when it comes to early learning. So biggest investments there. The other things are, it may seem cosmetic, but we got to a point where we were doing everything we could on the front of the building, the most visible parts. And then the back of the building, things like tuck pointing with the brick, those things that we decided we'll just get to later because they weren't as visible. Now is an opportunity to take care of those issues, because they will deteriorate further if they go unattended to. And we'll need a parking lot, obviously, for the preschoolers and their parents for pick up and drop off. And then Josh pointed out an HVAC matter. We have a competitive pool. We partner with Oakland City to build, and some beautiful auditorium. But those things are horrific when it comes to,
Moisture and
damage
odor.
that they cause on buildings. And this one upgrade will give us longevity with our mechanical systems and our finishes, just create a better environment overall. That's what we scoped out for this second one.
Preschool classes, are those the ones in the back?
All the way in the back.
Okay.
Gym. Yeah, those 2 rooms. We white boxed them. Said, hey, let's paint them, put flooring in, and we'll do what we can with them. We ended up sleeping about 60 campers and staff from Camp Carson when a couple of our units went offline. But that's the only thing we really could use those rooms for. They're just wide open spaces, general use. At this point, we want to designate those for deeper impact.
Well, even what you have now is such a gift to Gibson County. It's amazing. So, other questions about potential projects outlined? So, Jonathan, thank you for coming in and thank you
Welcome.
for your dedication to, you're welcome to stay or, it's an open meeting.
I'll get on out, but you guys,
Yeah.
I see me those dollars.
Yeah.
No, but I appreciate you guys. Thanks for looking at that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
So going back, we do have a motion and a second on the Promenade Flats. I'm sorry, on the Franklin Street. lots.
Franklin Street Loft. So while you were on
Coffee duty for.
coffee break. Apparently, there was a motion made, Franklin Street Loft, so we do have a motion on the floor, it was seconded. And that was approving Franklin Street Lofts for $300,000. Any discussion, question? If not, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay? Okay, Franklin Street Lofts. USI STEM Lab. You wanna take USI and Toyota together? You have any? You wanna pull either of those out? If not, we have USI STEM Lab for 300,000 and the Y at 1,197,285.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any questions? I think it's awesome that Y is gonna finish out. I mean, it's a great project, but those, what they have scoped here, those are really necessary to keep that, so.
Did you say 300 is what we have left? That's why we recommended that?
Correct.
Okay. I didn't move back. Okay.
So I think, I mean, if these are approved today, we are committed.
We are committed with allocations out of ready to.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So congratulations, we are fully committed with ready to.
Yay.
Thank you to staff. Thank you to staff.
So in terms of that commitment, what I wanted to do briefly, Ashley is going to run through the economic impact of the projects that we've approved, with the exceptions of the one today. We utilize a software project or a program called InPlan that helps us understand exactly what these projects are generating. We have a lot of this data together, and we start to think about our media release on the programs and projects that, or excuse me, all projects that we've approved in this round of ready. I thought it was really important that we share what's the value to our community. So we started doing this in-plan economic analysis, and Ashley's going to run through this.
Yeah, so as Josh mentioned, we can really see where our investment and how it kind of spans out, trickles out. So through this, we'll go over the county data as well as each project within the county. So so our ready to before today, we stood at 44.4 million that was awarded locally. So 44.4 million in investments, which trickles to almost $500 million, excuse me, in total construction costs, which then spans out to 2.26 billion over construction and a 10-year GDP contribution here. So that is new GDP that we have within our region. So again, looking at county by county, so we'll start off with Gibson County. So we have the 3.3 million ready award. So we have those investments, which then generates anticipated to generate 406 local jobs, which then translates to 2.2 million in local tax dollars to be able to be reinvested. And then that translates into almost 40 million of the 10-year total local GDP within Gibson County. For the projects here, we have the district phase 2. So a $3 million ready award then trickles into an anticipated 185 jobs, which generates $8 million in wages and almost 900,000 in local tax dollars for the community.
And the jobs that, when you see these numbers, are both construction jobs and then permanent jobs, and also induced jobs. So these folks living there are going to spend money in that community, generate additional things beyond like the landscaping crew, et cetera, for the.
So then you
project.
see the impact, the initial impact of the 3 million investment that then generates almost $30.2 million in local GDP for the 10-year impact. Next up, we have the Alley Cats Bowling and Entertainment. So this is just the first year construction that we're looking at. We really don't have that 10-year GDP impact with this. So the 200,000 ready investment translates into about 580,000 for the local GDP impact of the first year construction only. Hub 127, again, 122 from ready to investments, which generates around 353,000 for the local GDP impact for just construction only here with this project. And both of those still, as you can see in the bottom left, are still waiting for the IADC approval. So for Posey County, we're looking at almost 8 million, 7.9 million in ready to investment, which is anticipated to create 550 local jobs, which generates about 3.2 million in local tax dollars and impacting almost 70 or 65 million in 10-year local GDP contribution here. The projects within this are Posey County housing expansion. Again, we're waiting on the IEDC approval here, but the $5 million investment is anticipated to create 374 jobs, which generates around 18 million in wages and allows for 2.1 million in local tax dollars to be reinvested into the community, which then the impact there spans out to almost 60 million for the 10-year local GDP contribution.
I'd like to add that on this and the Poseyville project, these are very conservative estimates based on the number of housing units they said that they guaranteed development of. So in this case, 10 homes being built, but I believe there's over 200 parcels that will be developed. So if more over 10 years are built, obviously that just goes up.
And the environmental impact here with around, I think it was around 150 existing homes being put on a new sewer system versus the septic.
Failing septics. Let's call it
Yes,
failing
sorry.
septics.
Hackman Park events and
It'd be shocking if they only built.
I would be stunned.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like.
Yeah. But we had to have a number to put in there, and that was the number they guaranteed.
Hackman Park Event Center, we do have a ground breaking on Monday. So the ready to investment here of $2 million then translates for the first year construction only into the impact of 8.7 million to the total local GDP contribution. Farmington Ridge, 945,000 from the ready to investments anticipated to create 72 jobs, generating $3.4 million in wages, which then creates $407,000 for local tax dollars to be reinvested, which is about 5 million for the 10-year local GDP impact. And again, this was another project that, can span out over time. So this could increase. For Warwick County, our $8 million in ready to investments anticipated to create over 2,600 local jobs, which generates $9.7 million for local tax dollars to be reinvested. And then that spans out to almost 1.7 billion for the 10-year total local GDP contribution here. The Dominion, for one of the first projects that we're talking about with our $5 million ready to investment, creating 427 jobs, generating $24 million in wages, and then that translates into 1.8 million for local tax dollars. And of course, spanning out to that 10-year impact, we're looking at almost $105 million for the GDP impact there.
I want to point out that those two need to be switched. It's actually 456 10-year jobs, 427 during construction. So sorry, those need to be swapped there.
Yeah, Alcoa Work Operations Expansion. Here we have the $2 million investment from Ready to, really showcasing the major impact of one of the significant employers here within Warwick County, creating a little over 1,000 jobs, generating $671 million in wages, which then trickles into 5.6 million for local tax dollars. And then that creates 1.6 billion for the 10-year local GDP contribution that we have within work. Lou Dennis Park, again, we're looking at first year construction only, so you'll notice that some of the, whether it's parks or some of the other projects that we have here, we can only capture the first year construction. So we have our 1 million Ready 2.0 investment, which generates into 1.3 for the local GDP impact. Vanderburgh County, we're looking at $22.7 million for our Ready to investment, anticipated to create 2,700 local jobs, which generates 8 million for local tax dollars. And then the big impact here is 426, a little over 426 million for the 10-year total local GDP impact. The Eastville Reserve, $6 million of the Ready to award, translating into 465 jobs, which then creates $30 million in wages. And then generate 1.1 million in local tax dollars, spanning out to 591 million for the 10-year GDP contribution. The Stewart, 4.89 million in Ready to investments, creating 604 jobs, generating $30 million here in wages, creating 1.5 million in local tax dollars to be reinvested, which then that spans out into 82 million for the 10-year GDP contribution. Flats at Old Farm, 3.9 million from the Ready to investments. Then, and you'll see here that 698.94, that really shows how detailed and, down to the decimal, how this software works. So creating almost 700 new jobs, 39.6 million in wages, then creating 1.8 million for local tax dollars to be reinvested. And then that spans out into the 10-year GDP contribution of 113 million. The Nest at Red Bank, 3.4 from the Ready 2.0 award, creating 255 jobs, generating $14.5 million in wages, 683,000 for the local tax dollars, and then that spans out to 42.6 million over the 10-year local GDP impact. Crawford Door, here we have $2.7 million from the Ready to in awards, anticipating to create 420 jobs, generating $23 million in wages. And that creates 1.2 million for local tax dollars, and that spans out to 48 million for the 10-year contribution, the GDP contribution. Junior Achievement Discovery Center, here we have 1.7. Again, we're looking at the first year construction impact, so 1.75 in the Ready to funding, and then that translates into 9.1 million for the total local GDP impact for the first year construction. Happy to answer any questions, and if I don't know it, I'll get it, because as we said, this gets really detailed and we have a lot of amazing information of how impactful these initial investments are over the first year to the 10-year period.
It's a good thing we have a lot of housing, because it's a lot of jobs you just mentioned.
Exactly.
Bringing new population in to Southwest Indiana,
And
so.
yeah, and as Josh mentioned, it's not jobs just created from the construction jobs, but also the induced jobs, so induced spending, whether that's, the Starbucks barista or opening another position to hire everyone.
Great, good information. Could take a deep dive into that sometime. We have pre-commitment letters, 2 for LEI projects, Franklin Street Lofts and the JD Seth Neighborhood Revitalization Project, and then 1 Ready 2.0 project, Hegeman. Is there a motion to approve the pre-commitment letters and authorize me to sign?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Evan, second by Jason. Any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
And we haven't gotten any feedback from the ones that are not approved, right? We don't know. The 3 of the Alley Cats, they did, the feedback that they did give is the other 2, Alley Cats is the one that scored kind of the lowest. They just feel like, it didn't really, they haven't done something like
They don't
that before.
understand it, and we
Yeah.
can see that when we look at the GDP impact and the local impact of those. They're not huge projects,
Gotcha.
they don't have a 3x or 4x return. But are they important projects to that community is the question, right? And were they advanced by that? By your county,
Mhm.
right? And so that's where they came from. We haven't heard no. I know that the folks are out there working on the alley cats, and I would hate to hear no after the fact, but they are analyzing that. We did need additional information on the Posey housing expansion, which is basically a sewer extension, which was provided by the developer. So we're awaiting an announcement on that.
I think since these are smaller projects and, you know, big groups kind of hanging on to them or having a hard time just wanting to know if they could lock supplies in by end of year and they're sitting tight waiting. So, I mean, I know they're concerned, but
Yeah.
just didn't know if there's anything from our end with the IEDC that could push them along before end of year.
And we have I think an IEDC meeting this afternoon. So I think on my calendar for this afternoon, maybe it's tomorrow afternoon.
it up.
Yeah.
We'll bring it up.
Bring it up.
It's sometimes speaking into a box and just. Yeah,
We'll have that discussion this afternoon
Yeah.
if there's any update.
and of course, as soon as we hear something, we'll let you all know.
We have a request on the Promenade Flats to subordinate our lien. We've done this before, they're refinancing, and we have done that before on other projects. So it will still be there to support it to that refinancing loan. It's been through legal, and if there's questions, but it's pretty standard. But we do need a motion to approve and authorize me to sign that agreement.
So moved.
Sorry.
Motion by Jenna, second by Evan. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion has passed. And then you have the list of claim vouchers. Before we have those read into the record, does anybody need to pull any of those out separate? If you'll take a look at that list. If not, we'll take them all as one motion. Okay, so Denise, are you? Okay.
Project 601, rooftop planning and activation, they have a claim for $2,945,000, 0 cents. Project 309, Centerpoint Energy Square Park, their claim voucher in the amount of $73,800. Project 502, USI Nursing Expansion, they have one claim in for $45,838.45. Project 602, Downtown Evansville Riverfront Development, they have two claims in, one for $218,911.66, and their second one for $123,990.12. Project 208, Life Sciences Student Housing, their claim for $326,110.72. Project 702, I-69 Regional Corridor Planning, their final claim in is for $13,200 even. Project 302, Ward County Sports Complex, their claim is in for $291,913.43. And Project 601, with another claim, Riverfront Planning and Activation, their claim is for $7,522.38.
Any questions on any of the things? Okay, and if agreeable, we could take a motion to approve claims A through H.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion was made by Jason, second by Jenna. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Claims have been approved. Anybody against? No. So Zach will be busy in the upcoming days. We'll get those done. So with those, we have our number. I know we're past our,
Yes, here we go.
oh, great.
We're at 9%.
69%.
Seems like it should always creep up a whole lot more than.
Yeah.
We're like, okay,
Yeah.
2 more.
I mean, 1% of 45 million is
Yeah. Yeah.
a lot of money.
So,
You'll notice too that the projects that have asterisks are in the closeout phase, so, yeah, starting that process.
But 2.0s can start drawing, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Ready 1.0 portfolio status, is this? Okay.
So yeah, you'll see here, as I mentioned, as projects start to be closed out or reach kind of the 50% mark, so they'll kind of balance out. We do have some that we're still working with, and getting those balances, increased as well as their claims dispersed. For downtown Evansville Riverfront, we just released, RFQs, 5 of them, to be specific, to be able to get them on board and a notice to proceed with whoever the respondents are, the selected respondents are within those 5 RFQs. By November, we want to get them on board to get them to start invoicing, to drawing those down further as well.
Great. So next meeting, November 12th, is everybody available? Great, wonderful. I just want to thank the RDA members. At the Franklin Street lofts groundbreaking last week, it dawned on me that this started with regional cities. So some of us have been on here for, this is our 10-year anniversary. So, Jim, 10 years. So through regional cities, Ready 1 and Ready 2, and just the amount of money that's done. So I just want to thank everyone for their time. Our newest member, Jason, and Jenna and Evan. Did you come? You came on after Howard, correct?
That's correct. Yep.
So anyway, thank you to the committee that we send these out to as well. Just put that on the record that we really appreciate that.
Be proud
Dedication.
of billions of dollars in GDP impact from the region too.
Absolutely amazing. So anyway, motion to, yeah, it's a party. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. We're adjourned. Thank you.
All right.
See you guys. Yes.
The 3 of us came together. Originally, Wayne was
Yeah,
not
we
in.
did. This will be through.
I need to jump into another meeting. Do you need me for anything?
A lot of fun.
Thank you all.